Hello everyone, Storm101 here. Today we'll be taking a look to having an update on a potential, perhaps, maybe a blizzard may try to occur across portions of the Ohio Valley. Here we'll be taking a look to the GFS, the Canadian, the Euro. Also want to show you guys some of the winter storm criteria for the advisories, watches, and warnings as well. Also do have my own unofficial, little forecast that I made as well. We'll also look into the GFS ensembles as well. We're going to get started with the GFS model here. Now, this model here has been really jumping around on solutions for this upcoming system. So this is what's going on right now. Got a low pressure system across portions of Illinois there. And that'll be dying out as it moves to the northeast. But then as we start to get into Saturday, we'll start to see a low pressure system develop somewhere around Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, maybe even Alabama. And later on, we're going to see a big trough start to come in. That'll be your polar jet stream. At the around the same time, we have the subtropical jet stream right down here. And when those two interact, you can get a big storm system. Here comes your polar jet stream starting to come down. The GFS balls even started to spit out some snow across the Texas Panhandle and eastern New Mexico there, looking to be a little bit brief. Excuse me. But you can see here, here comes your power jet. You got a low pressure system starting to develop. That close around those Gulf Coast states. As we move on for the next couple of hours, your low pressure develops in Alabama. Now, for anybody who lives in the deep south, it's mostly going to be a rain event, and even close to southeast. The potential's there maybe after the system here. You could see some snow, at least a few snowflakes across some of these regions here. I'll show you guys that in a moment. As we move on a couple of frames here, now the difference with this one here is that the cold air comes in a little bit late. Now for some of the other models, at around this point here, there will be some heavy snow already ongoing across Kentucky and even down to Tennessee. If we move on a different frame, you can see here snow started to come up. Another thing to notice, the low pressure system's deepening a little bit late here as well. Here comes your cold air. You got some snow really starting to pop up across Tennessee and Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. You even got some very heavy snow across portions of the New York State area. And then another low pressure system may try to develop across the southeast and may even try to bring some more snow across some of these regions here as well. And here comes another wave here of cold air moves across the southeast there. So this is quite a different solution than some of what the other models are thinking. This is the total snowfall forecast. However, some of the higher amounts are still in the bullseye region that we're predicting as of right now. Like Ohio, for example, you got areas 4 to 6 inches. Same way across southern Indiana, Kentucky. There's even some heavy snow amounts across the mountains. The Smoky Mountains and then the mountains of West Virginia. There could see a decent amount of snow, and also a lot of snow across portions of New York State, likely exceeding a foot of snow just by the GFS model here. Now, just to let you guys know, this is a little bit of an outlier, and also the GFS has been going back and forth with this system here as well. It is trending back towards what some of the other models are trying to show here. So I'll show you guys the Canadian next. So again, there goes that system there. You got a wave that'll start to develop here, a little pressure system across Texas and Louisiana. Snow again for the Texas Panhandle, portions of New Mexico, Oklahoma, Colorado there as well. You can see here your low pressure system starts to deepen and also develop earlier than the GFS. You can see here now this is already a 997 millibar low. Your cold air actually comes in earlier. If we go for the next frame, which is this is 7 o'clock, your cold air arrives, and then you get very heavy snow anywhere from central Tennessee through central Kentucky up into Ohio and Indiana. Starting to experience some pretty heavy snow. Now this is what we kind of call a bombing out system here, where it drops a lot of millibars in a short period of time. Now let me show you guys that. So this is 1,003 millibars here. This is 7 o'clock Sunday evening. It drops 3 millibars by the next couple hours. Then it already drops down to 990, down to 985. The potential is there we could see a blizzard. If you look on the back side, your isobars, which these black lines here, the closer together, the stronger the winds are going to be. You can see here how close those isobars are close together in the snow. That's why we're saying the possibility is there we could see blizzard conditions across Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, even up into Michigan there as well. What's something quite interesting here is how this here starts to loop around. If that's the case, especially across, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, you guys can see a lot more snow. Now, at this point here, got some light snow going on. Probably some heavy snow at times across the Great Lakes, especially with the lake effect snow going on, adding on top of that. You can see here how this low pressure system just basically just sticks around there as well. And then models are starting to trying to show another system may come in sometime later in the middle of next week. But that'll be for a different video. And let's take a look at snowfall mounts with this. And you can see here with those snowfall mounts. Now when you get to those green colors, that's over a foot of snow. Now it's going to take some time for snow to accumulate because the temperatures on the ground are going to be above freezing. So it may take a couple inches of snow, before it'll try to accumulate. So if you subtract, some of these numbers by a couple of inches, that'll be what really the models will be showing here. Now this is, falling out for thin air or whatever, something like that. Now you can see here some of your higher amounts are down across central Tennessee up into Kentucky, into Ohio, eastern Indiana, and up into Michigan, actually showing a lot of snow, but some of that's mixed in with some lake effect snow in there as well. So that's why we're seeing some pretty high amounts of snow up there. Where some of those areas could be nearing 2 feet of snow up there as well. Let's next take a look into the European model here. Now the European model is probably the crazy one out there. And you can see here comes your low pressure system. Let's actually zoom this out a little bit. So here comes your low pressure system coming out of Texas and Indiana. Pretty similar to what the Canadian model has it. It actually shows it deepen even earlier than the Canadian model. 190 millibars when it reaches to the mountains, and then there you go. Starts to transition over to snow across Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana. And then when you get to those dark blues, that's heavy snow. Very heavy snow trying to pop up across western Ohio there when you get to those pink colors. That's a very heavy snow. 980 millibars. Yeah, could be a blizzard on the backside of that. What's also quite interesting of how this turns and just kind of makes a loop. Now, if this were to verify here, these areas across Indiana, Ohio, even down into Kentucky, could see much higher snowfall amounts. You can see how long that kind of sticks around, even some of that snow, then eventually starts to move out of the way. Let's take a look into those snowfall amounts as well from the European model. And again, a little bit crazy. Now all these here solutions I'm showing you guys could be it's possible. Like GFS model for example, it could deepen, late. Also that cold air could kind of come in late. Stuff like that. CMC model, same way for the European model. I mean, something like this can happen. But looking at the European model with these snowfall amounts, pretty high. Some areas up to 2 feet of snow across Indiana and Ohio. Even in some areas showing about a foot of snow as far south as central Kentucky. So if the European model verifies, this could be potentially a major blizzard. Which let me show you guys those wind gusts here. So I'll show you guys the criteria for a blizzard watch, blizzard warning, and all that stuff in just a moment. So here's your low pressure system, goes through Alabama, Mississippi. There could be some severe weather across southern Alabama and also the panhandle of Florida. more than likely could get into Florida as well for some severe weather potential. Instability values are actually low. I mean, this is 8 o'clock in the morning, but the potential could be there for some severe weather. And I mean, look at this system. That's a pretty impressive looking system there. But let's actually change over to wind gusts. Now, on the southeastern side, probably overdoing those wind gusts. Um, I would definitely say, I'll probably say more of an away of probably 50 to 60 miles an hour. Now, some of those higher elevations could see a little over 60 miles an hour. I've seen something like this before on a different event, like a couple weeks ago. European model was actually overdoing those wind gusts. So just to keep in mind of that, so likely the European model may be overdoing the winds on the eastern side of the system. But look at the back side of the system, however. That's the main focus. Look at these wind gusts that's going to be in the snow. It's showing wind gusts over 45 miles an hour. And these are wind gusts. If we look at to sustained winds, I mean that's nearing 30 miles an hour. And typically for, blizzard warning criteria has to be over 35-mile-an-hour winds in it for a certain period of time. But when we see wind gusts, that's pretty much into blizzard warning criteria here as well, which I'll show you guys in just a moment. But this is going to be a very interesting system here. You can still see near blizzard conditions, by Tuesday. So this is going to be a system we're going to watch here. Now, I believe 70 years ago today, back in 1950, we had a system similar to this that went across the Appalachian Mountains. It actually made a loop across the Ohio Valley. The amount of snowfall it put down is ridiculous. I mean, northeastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, southwestern New York State got over 2 feet of snow. And those are snowfall accumulations. But the winds were very intense, where wind gusts were over, I believe they said it was around 100 miles an hour at times. And it was a very deadly storm and actually killed hundreds of people. Can we see something like that happen with this system? I have doubts on that. And the track is very similar to the system back in 1950, but I'll say the stats won't quite as reach as the system here, especially for the winds. I mean, around 100-mile-an-hour winds is ridiculous. There's what you gotta imagine. Those wind chills had to be extremely cold. I mean, that is extreme blizzard conditions there when you think about it. Now, for this system, compared to 1950, I don't think we'll see a repeat of that. I mean, snowfall wise, we could see we're around 2 feet of snow again, but the wind wise, I don't think we won't reach to that criteria. So just a little bit of history here, and this system here kind of has similarities to that store back in 1950, but these here won't exactly be the same, or probably not, wouldn't really be similar. I mean, the wind gusts, we won't reach that high, but the snow could be similar amounts. But this could just be in a different place. So just to keep in mind of that. Now, also to keep in mind is that the GFS model was showing something nearly exactly like the European model was showing last night. Let's actually go back to the GFS model. I believe it was the 18Z run last night. Yeah. Look how similar this is to the European model. It's showing snowfall amounts over 2 feet across portions of Indiana. Very similar track, similar placement with those snowfall totals. So that's something interesting I want to mention there. And those wind gusts, yeah, about strong as the European model showing. So if we see the GFS European model have a good agreement with that again, that'd be a little bit concerning there. I mean, that brings up the chances for a blizzard a little bit higher. So, yeah, on that. So, definitely need to watch this system pretty closely here. Last model we'll take a look into is the GFS ensembles. This is currently updating. Now, this is 20 members here. Now, I'll probably say which ones are probably the most accurate ones. I'll say member 3, maybe 5, 6, perhaps 7, 8, could be 9, could be 10, 11. 14, 17, perhaps 19, and 20. Now, the least accurate ones are likely going to be member 2 and 12. Likely could be underdoing those amounts by quite a bit. Same thing for member 4. But you can see here, there's a big uncertainty with the GFS ensembles. But you can see here, either way, for some of these placements of the storm system, can't see a lot of snow. I mean, look at member number 7 here. Show its snowfall amounts around 18 inches. Similar thing for member 8, 9, 5, a little bit close to 3 there. I mean, 11, 17. So generally speaking here, there is going to be some decently high snowfall amounts either way with this system here. So this will be definitely something to watch here. Hopefully the GFS ensembles will have a little bit better agreement because right now the uncertainty is pretty high. Just looking at all 20 members from the GFS ensembles there as well. So here's the little forecast here. Now this is the potential for, this is the chances of having a winter storm, not a blizzard here. So areas in the blue, those areas that have the possibility to see a winter storm. You can see it goes as far south as, northern Alabama and northern Georgia. This here could change around some, just so keep in mind of that. Even goes as far north as central Michigan. But the higher confidence for right now is going to be areas in the red, which includes central Kentucky, venturing into most of Indiana, western Ohio, and into southern Michigan. That's where we have the better, where I believe has the better chance for seeing winter storm. But again, this is likely going to change. This is a pretty much an unofficial forecast. I'm just basically just doing this for fun for right now. And I'll probably release my snowfall forecast soon. Right now, it's too far out to create a snowfall forecast. We are 5 days away, so a lot of things can still change with this here. Last but not least, let's take a look at the criteria here. So let's take a look to the watches. So for a winter storm watch, conditions favorable for a winter storm event, which is a threat to life or property. And keep in mind, this is by the National Weather Service. This is by the National Weather Service in Lincoln, Illinois. So just to keep in mind that this is where they issue, your warnings and stuff like that. You know, stuff like that. Blizzard watch. Yes, blizzard watches do exist. Conditions favorable for a blizzard event. Low visibility around under or around a quarter of a mile, with winds at least 35 miles an hour. The European model is showing you guys where we're seeing wind gusts over 40 miles an hour. So that's pretty much into blizzard criteria. Advisories. Winter weather advisory, usually for one or more of the following. Snow of 3 to 5 inches in 12 hours. Sleet could be around half an inch. Freezing rain with sleet and snow. Blowing snow. Freezing rain advisory, which it does exist. Ice accumulations are around a quarter of an inch. Now here we go into the warnings here. Winter storm warning. Heavy snow 6 inches in 12 hours or 8 inches in 24 hours. I meant to say heavy snow 6 inches in 12 hours or 8 inches of snow in 24 hours. Or sleet half an inch or more. Ice storm warning. Ice accumulation quarter of inch or more. Blizzard warning. Blizzard conditions for at least 3 hours. So in order for a blizzard warning to happen, you're going to need visibility to be, you're going to got to have low visibility, quarter of a mile, and winds at least 35 miles an hour in for at least 3 hours. Can't have it for an hour or two. Has to be at least 3 hours. But what the European model is showing here, if this verifies, we can see blizzard warnings in effect for portions of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, possibly central and northern Kentucky. If this were to verify, if we look into these wind gusts here, you can see here 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. You can see here for some of these areas, wind gusts that strong could be lasting for at least 3 days. So generally, if the European model is correct, we can see blizzard warnings for, central and southern Michigan, most of Indiana, western Ohio, and eventually getting down into central Kentucky. So that's blizzard criteria if the European model is correct. And the Canadian model is similar to the European model, so the Canadian will probably be the same way. Now for the GFS, however, we'll see if it's updated. Yeah, for so it's on its 12Z run. Doesn't really quite reach blizzard criteria here, but it's also probably one of the least likely solutions here, but the possibility is there. So GFS doesn't really quite reach blizzard criteria, but the Canadian and the European model does. So just to keep in mind, that's what the potential for right now is. The potential is there for a blizzard. So just to keep in mind that it's not a guarantee. I'm just saying that the potential is there for a blizzard. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. And I also do have a Twitter account as well. If you guys want to follow me there, I'm a little bit more active there than YouTube. It's at TyStorm101. You guys can follow me there for probably a little bit more detailed information. And also give you guys, if I upload video, I'll give you guys alert on there as well. If you guys do have any questions, you can put a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.